travel across the U.S. southern border to meet with the men and women defending it. We begin our journey less than 1 mile from the border in McAllen, Texas.
We don't have an opioid problem here in the Rio Grande Valley. It's coming through here, but we don't have that problem. We don't have a meth problem here, but it's coming through here, but it's going to your neighborhood. We don't have an MS-13 problem. It's in Virginia, Maryland, DC. Comes through here, but it doesn't stay here. So people need to wake up and understand that what happens down here doesn't affect them today, but it doesn't affect us tomorrow. It affects them tomorrow. I'm an agent down here in the McAllen area. We're in the Rio Grande Valley. It's one of the busiest areas in the nation. Recently, Tucson has taken over as the busiest, but if you look at the Texas map, we're about 60 miles in from the tip of Texas. For the longest time, for the last maybe 5, 6, 7 years, we had the unfortunate distinction as the busiest. Del Rio's obviously been really busy here lately, and now Tucson is back on top, or bottom, depending on how you look at it. Asylum seekers, whether or not they qualify for asylum, they come in, they turn themselves in. This gate behind me, they'll just walk up in big numbers, 50, 60, 70 people at a time saying they want asylum. We take them into the station, they know they're gonna get released, and we release them into the country.
"1,200 miles west in the Tucson sector of Arizona.
They put this sign up in order to prevent people from crossing into the United States illegally. And it says in Spanish, "Be careful, do not expose your life to the elements." No hay agua potable, which means there's no drinkable water. Obviously, the desert landscape, the snakes, and that you can drown, in some of these washes when they're running with water. That is not preventing anyone from coming across the border illegally. We're in Arizona. We're in the southwest border on the area of the Tohono Reservation, which is the Native American reservation in the United States. But what's different from this Native American reservation and others is that half of it's in America, the other side's in the Mexican side. You're looking at more or less 60 linear miles with Mexico, where one half is here, the other half is over there. This is the most notorious area where you have had gotaways. Gotaways is just that, the people that got away. Unfortunately, this area, because it's so remote, it's hard for agents to get to these spots. There's not as many agents out here as they can get because too many are out there processing at the processing centers. It takes hours to get to this area. This is the area where drug smuggling happens continuously. The drug cartels, we've said it many times, they control the southern border. They control what happens through here. So what they'll do is they'll bring in large groups through these areas. The large groups get apprehended. It causes a distraction for agents. Agents are now having to come out here, transport, process, and as you can see, it's difficult to get out of here for the transport alone. And by the time that they're out of here and they take the groups, this area is pretty much wide open to the drug cartels, and that's when they utilize it to bring drugs across into the United States. You often hear people say you need the wall. Yes, you need the wall. You need it in strategic locations. You need more agents. There's a lot of things that you do. Unfortunately, under the current administration, they've managed to strip all that. And this is what we have. This is where the problem is. This is the barrier. This that you see here that is probably about 16 inches off the ground. This is what protects the American public. This is what protects the American citizens. And just south of here is where you have the drug cartels like the Sinaloa cartel continuing to operate, bringing fentanyl, heroin, methamphetamines, cocaine into the United States.
800 miles east in Del Rio, Texas.
The academy is really hard. Do I have what it takes to be a trooper? Am I brave enough? Am I tough enough? Am I smart enough? And at the end of the day, whatever you think is what's going to happen. And so I told myself, you are tough enough, you are smart enough, and you're needed. And you're gonna go and you're gonna do a great job, and you're gonna be the change that you want to see. Hey, I'm Jacqueline. I am a trooper with the Texas Highway Patrol, and I have been stationed here in Del Rio for 4.5 years. Being in a border area, we see a lot of things that I think most people don't consider. I think that there's such a prevalence on human smuggling, and it's such a political, polarizing issue that a lot of times people forget that we are dealing with humans, and we understand that. And we're also here not only to enforce laws and protect our citizens of the United States and of Texas, but I'm also here to protect people that are being smuggled and trafficked, because they are typically victims in a lot of ways as well. So we see that with a big human trafficking nature in big cities especially, but moving towards that or being taken advantage of after a smuggling event even. A lot of the children that we encounter have nothing to do with the decisions that their parents are making. So there are a lot of things that you see in these, and especially revolving around children that have no choice in the matter, that people would never recognize. Children being used as a pawn to literally being pushed through barbed wire so that we would open up for their parents to come behind them. And when I say children, as young as 2-3-year-old, barely walking children being pushed through barbed wire as a pawn. And it may or may not even be with their parents. It may be with a random group of people that they've been sent with. So you see a lot of the good, bad, and the ugly. There's some really beautiful moments in what we see so prevalently in human smuggling, and there's some really terrible aspects in human nature as well. One thing that's prevalent right now that we see here on the border, there seems to be this big media push about kind of us versus Border Patrol, or us versus federal, or us versus National Guard, or whatever the case may be. One of the things that I want to make sure everybody knows is that law enforcement agencies are partners. And so with us, we work every day with Border Patrol. We work with our local departments. We work with sheriff's deputies. Any department that we can help, that's our partner and that's our teammate. And so we work so well together. The boots on the ground are gonna do whatever it takes to share resources and to meet our common goals, which is taking down the bad guy. However that may be and whoever that may be, we're gonna accomplish that goal together. So Border Patrol are our friends, our allies. Any of our other partners are as well, and we share those resources for the common good. So there's no animosity here at the border between any of our fellow agencies, and if anything, I feel like our relationships are reliant on each other more than ever. And in fact, in aircraft, the #1 agency that we help is Border Patrol, and that's DPS aircraft using most of our hours of flight to help Border Patrol. So there's no animosity. Those guys are our teammates, and we wish them the best just like we do.
"60 miles southeast in Eagle Pass, Texas."
I'm a lieutenant here with DPS in the South Texas region. Right now we're in Mission, Texas, right along the border. As you can see behind me, we're right along the Rio Grande River. This is a very highly active area. And what I mean by that is the people that are crossing this particular area are people that are trying to evade capture. They're not your typical asylum seekers or families. These are individuals that are trying to evade capture, trying to avoid law enforcement. And then you take into account the unknown gotaways, those individuals that don't set off any cameras, any sensors. So that's always a concern. But the threat's here. When you don't know who's entering the country, when there's evidence that there's been people apprehended that were on the terror watch list or criminal gang members, cartel members, people that were wanted for violent crimes. They've been apprehended. That only tells you one thing, that more of those individuals are in the country right now. They've been in the country right now from the very beginning. In 3 years, we've been doing this, we've been experiencing this. The threat's already here, and that's what's concerning. And it's just shocking that it took almost 3 years now for them to actually admit that. So we have a great relationship working with Border Patrol. We're out here pretty much every single day working with them, trying to apprehend these individuals, because again, if we're not out here doing this type of work, these are individuals that will make it further into the interior, which are known as gotaways. So we're trying to prevent that, trying to apprehend these individuals to see who they are and what their intentions are, trying to make it into the country.
Thank you for coming with us to meet the Guardians of the Divide.